What's up everybody, my name's Big Cam and welcome back to another spooky season movie review, and today we are continuing on my Scream franchise rewatch with the latest Scream 6 from directors Matt Bettinelli-OLPIN and Tyler Gillett, who also did the previous Scream 5 film, which was also kind of like a reboot but also still a Scream 5, and this is very much so a Scream 6 because, you know, getting into some spoilers already, the killers of this film are related to the killer in the last film, which, you know, ended up being a fine killers, but I had my hopes up that it was gonna be Matthew Lillard, friggin' Stu Macher from the first film, and he was gonna be back somehow all the way into this film. And maybe that will happen in the next film, but like they had like an old mask and the boots, and like every time I saw him I was like, oh shit, that's Stu Macher back from the dead, he's fucking shit up. And then when they reveal the killer, I saw it coming, you know, like those were my guesses of people that were in the movie, but I built it up in my head that the killer was going to be one person again, just like the third film, instead of two people. And in this film it's kind of three people. But, you know, the first film, going all the way back to 96, Stu Macher and Billy Loomis, and Billy Loomis is kind of Melissa Barrera's character of Sam Carpenter's dad, which I don't understand because he was dating Sydney and her like they didn't have kids. Like, so where did he have kids? Like, he got murdered? I don't know. That whole part of it doesn't make sense to me. How is she is like, oh, Billy Loomis is my dad. They were high schoolers and he wasn't having kids, you know, like, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, like how her character is related to Billy Loomis somehow, but it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. It's just like giving the kind of mindset to Melissa Barrera's character that like she is also got killer instincts on the inside. Like Sidney Prescott, she's a killer deep down, but she's also, you know, the person that the Ghostface was trying to kill. So like, she's innocent, but she's also, you know, had to protect herself in the most righteous of ways. And, you know, and if somebody's attacking you and coming after you, you protect your life in the utmost of ways. But no Neve Campbell in this film, which I thought was interesting. They do mention her, but like, I think after the fifth one, maybe Neve Campbell was like, I'm good, I don't want to do any more of these movies. And like, Dewey died in the last movie, so he's not back in this one either. So Courtney Cox is really the only one still around from the original films, and she's looking old as hell in this film. I mean, this is 23, so 2 years ago, but still, you know, like, Courtney Cox gets brutally stabbed and beat up in this one, and I'm like, you know, maybe she makes it, maybe she doesn't. They kind of said she was in the hospital or something, she might pull through, but like, we don't see her at the end of the film, so she could be back in the next one, or she could have died, who knows. Poor Samara Weaving dies at the beginning of this film, and normally there is like a phone call, the murder at the beginning of these films, all going back to the first one with poor Drew Barrymore, but Samara Weaving's character, I was like, oh, who's this, you know, like, she ends up getting murdered, and then they reveal that the Ghostface is Tony Revolori right away, and then the Ghostface that we just seen, which I thought they were subverting our expectations for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is a good idea. Show the audience who the killer is, and then, you know, go through the whole movie with the audience knowing that there's somebody we know, we've seen his face under the mask, and then, you know, later in the film, everybody else figures it out. But they still held to the traditional standards, because then they had a Ghostface kill this kid, Tony Revolori, and I was like, oh my god, so there's a Ghostface killing Ghostface? And I really thought it was Stu Macher, man. I did not think, you know, spoilers, that it was gonna be Lena Liberato as Quinn Bailey in Detective Bailey's daughter, and she was actually brothers with Jack Champion's character, and they were both siblings, and Dermot Mulroney had a third son, or a third child, and that was Jack Quaid's character last film, right? So kind of carrying on, kind of like the second Scream movie where it's Billy's mom is like carrying on like the killings. This is the killer from the fifth movie is carrying on the killings into the sixth film, and I don't know. I thought that was fine, and I kind of saw that coming. I didn't necessarily see that the detective was behind the whole thing, and that like Quinn and Jack Champion were the Ghostface. But you know, out of the friend group that was in this movie, I was like, ah, Jack Champion is definitely the killer. And then of course he ended up being the Ghostface. But I definitely didn't see Quinn coming. She was like, you know, the sex positive roommate. I didn't necessarily see her coming as the killer. But like when they revealed the two of them, and then they're working with their detective father, and they want payback for their son Richie that Sam killed the year before, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it worked, but there was a part of me like that it would have worked a lot better if it was Stu Macher that was behind the scenes this whole time and hasn't been around since the first film, and then all of a sudden he's back, baby, and it works, you know? Like, I think it would have worked, but maybe in the next film he'll be back, who knows? But Hayden Panettiere returns as Kirby in this, and they tried to throw us for a loop for a second saying that Kirby was the bad person, and I was like, oh no, Kirby! And then she was a cop, she was still good, you know, so I thought she had turned and became a ghost face, but no, she's a cop, so she'll probably be back in the next film. They need a returning character to be a sheriff or a deputy or something now that Dewey's gone, right? Josh Segarra, who I know as Pug from She-Hulk, and he was so funny in that show. He's like the cute boy next door in this film, and her like boyfriend. And like for a second you think maybe he could be the killer as well, but that's just a red herring, and he's really good as Danny. Devin Nakota, she played like the lesbian friend to Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy. And of course there's still Mindy, Chad, her brother, played by Mason Gooding, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. They're the core four, if you guys know, you know. And Jack Champion plays Spider in the Avatar movies, and he's about to have a pretty big Christmas with Avatar 3 coming out, for sure. And, yeah, as far as the rest of the cast, not too many other people in this other than the people I already mentioned, and I actually really quite like Dermot Mulroney as the detective and like him in this role. But, you know, it's just, I think it would have worked a lot better if it was Stu Macher rather than those three. But who knows? Scream 7 comes out next year, so I'm certainly going to be into that. But overall, through the Scream 6 movies so far, this movie I gave 4 out of 5 stars, about an 8 out of 10, which is a pretty damn good score. I only gave Scream 1 and Scream 5 out of the Scream movies as well a 4 out of 5 stars, but my overall Scream ranking would go Scream 1 as number 1, Scream 6 comes in at number 2, Scream 5 comes in at number 3, Scream 2 comes in at number 4, Scream 4 comes in at number 5, and Scream 3 comes in at number 6. And I think that's a pretty fair ranking. I think that might be how most people rank these films, honestly. And the OG film really is a genuinely good horror slasher film. And then 5 is like pretty good, but 6 I thought was highly entertaining. And if it was Stu Macher as the killer, it would have been like a 9 out of 10 movie for me, for sure. But the only thing that really, literally the only thing that really let me down in Scream 6 was the fact that the killer wasn't Stu Macher, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just really, you know, my own expectations building it up in my head type of thing, being like, oh, I think it might be him. It's the old mask. And like, Mindy had been dropping lines like, if you believe he's dead. So the whole time I thought it was going to be somebody from the past and it was going to be this big twist. But no, it was just people in the Scream universe, you know what I mean? The people around our characters that you should be unexpecting, but then all of a sudden they get unmasked and you're like, ah! The whole time, and you're like, oh, fuck. I really love these movies, though. The unmasking of the ghost face and watching them go around on this murdering spree, and the whole time you're trying to figure it out, and then by the end, you know, your hero characters kick the ass of Ghostface, but also figure out who Ghostface is, you know, and figure out why they've been doing this the whole time. You know, I'm here for it. I really am. I like the Scream movies, and when Scream 7 comes out next year, I will certainly be watching it. But please drop your comments and rankings down for the Scream 6 movies and the Scream franchise. I'd love to hear how your 6 Scream movies rank down in the comment section below. Or you can message me on my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for stopping on by, and if you've made it this far into the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way of doing that is liking this video, commenting down in the comment section below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hitting that bell so you don't miss future spooky season movie reviews and you get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam. If you guys want to chat more Scream movies and more about the Ghostface killers, I'd love to do that down in the comment section below or on my other social media. So please hit me up, subscribe. Thank you. It all goes a long way to supporting the channel, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace!